I'm organizing a wedding in my country, and you're all invited.
And it's way too early, and he's putting it all on me.
And she's concerned because you're not trucking anymore.
I'm her husband, and you're like my father, and you'll have to step back.
Okay, so now you're acting like Andrei.
Your dad is gonna pay for it.
Hey guys, welcome back to the #1 YouTube channel in the entire world. Today's a very special video, Yourwetsock, because today we are covering 90 Day Fiance, specifically Andrei and Elizabeth. We're going to be covering their entire relationship. And for all my friends out there that are Eastern European, get ready to Slav squat and start smoking cigs and drinking beer in the park, because Andrei is from Moldova. For those of you that don't know Moldova, right on top of Romania. Curtsy, brat. Curtsy, brat. For those of you that don't know Andrei and Elizabeth, they've been married, they have a child, and Andrei is probably the laziest person I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how this guy did it, but he finessed being a stay-at-home dad, and every single day he's like, I applied for a job, or I'm trying to get a job, but he never ends up getting job.
For everyone that's caught up on the show, in a recent episode, Andrei tells Elizabeth's brother and father that he used to be a police detective.
I'm a cop, and you will respect my authority.
You be a cop again?
Maybe.
Taking $10 from people for seatbelt violations.
I was not a patrol, no? I was in the office.
What do you mean? What's that?
Like a detective, you know?
You were a detective in Moldova.
He also refuses to tell them the reason why he fled from Moldova to Ireland.
Why, you grew up here, all your family and friends are here, and then you just picked up and moved to Ireland.
Just like needed some changes, you know?
Well, I mean, there's some, you had to leave your family behind for some reason.
Well, I had some problems, so before I was, just got some problems when
You got in trouble?
Yeah, something like that.
Earlier, he was laughing and joking about the fact that you can bribe police officers in Moldova, so I have no doubt in my mind that he was a crooked cop. Allegedly, nothing's proven yet.
What kind of trouble?
You don't need to know it.
Don't spill the beans, man. Exactly. Air it
I
out.
spill the beans to you.
Air it out.
This makes him seem very suspicious and assures me that he is hiding something. Now, I'm no Nancy Drew or Sherlock Holmes, but I have exposed way more intelligent people than this idiotic mama's boy, so Detective Yourwetsock is on this case. So in this series, we are going to be revealing Andrei's deep, dark past and expose him just like we exposed Lana and her little online dating scam sites. Hey David, still paying email girls? Can I get yeah?
In this scene, you see Andrei being a very busy stay-at-home dad. He actually mounted a television and he moved a piece of furniture, and he calls this work. Hey buddy, I don't know if you know this, but that can be done in like 5 minutes. I can mount a TV in probably 5 minutes and then move a piece of furniture. Wow, what is that, another 5 minutes? And that's your entire day's work. This guy is so lazy, and he finessed being a stay-at-home dad, but he doesn't even watch the kid.
Right now, I'm just concentrated on being a homestay dad.
I feel bad for Elizabeth because she has to work full-time for her father, and then on top of that, when she comes home, she ends up taking care of the child that Andrei should be watching, because he's a stay-at-home dad without any responsibility and without any career. I don't know if anyone has worked for like a family member or anything like that, but that kind of creates a power imbalance already, on top of the fact that your husband doesn't work and you're working for your dad. It just creates a weird power dynamic. And another weird aspect in this relationship is because Elizabeth's father is her boss, he often chimes in and like tries to give advice to his daughter in regards to Andrei, and they don't really like each other. Andrei says that her father is fake, but no one thinks the father is fake, because the father to Andrei's face says stuff like,
hey man, you should get a job so my daughter doesn't have to work for me full time and take care of the kid. Why don't you do something? You're lazy.
I don't think that's a good definition for the word fake, but hey, maybe it got lost in translation, right? I think what he means is her father's very direct. But the weird thing about this is in Eastern Europe, they are very direct, so I don't know why he doesn't like the father being direct. So because Andrei thinks he's God's gift to women, he really enjoys being a homestay dad, and by homestay dad, he means barely watching the kid and not doing anything, watching TV, being a bum. Meanwhile, his wife has to work full-time and then take care of a kid. So this is a really healthy relationship. I'm happy we're watching this together. So Elizabeth and Andrei met when she was going to Ireland, and she saw this sexy guy on a dating app, and it was Andrei. Now Elizabeth was very drawn to Andrei for his body. Let's zoom in on his body for a second, because in the scene, Andrei says he has a six-pack.
Bitch, swear.
Now, here's the thing. I don't want to be too critical, buddy, but you don't have a six-pack, okay? That's not what that is. You have the top two, and then the rest, you know, where's the other? Physically fit guy, you know? But I think all the brain power went to his body because he turns out he's an idiot. Elizabeth says that when her and Andrei got married, it was so exciting and it was a beautiful wedding and they just had a great time. Sure enough, Elizabeth admits that her family and Andrei don't get along and the drama and fights often seep into their relationship, and I'm really not surprised by this, especially when her father is her boss. Of course, he's going to be involved with the fact that his daughter's husband doesn't have a job, and of course he's concerned as a parent and is like, why would you do this? I think the problem with Elizabeth is she always talks about the baby and she's like,
Oh my god, I love my little bundle of joy.
I think the main problem with Elizabeth is she really just wanted to have a baby. That's what I'm gathering from watching her on the show, is that she really wanted a baby really bad. She didn't care with who. She saw this hot guy and she was like,
Oh my god, like, I want a baby, let's have a baby.
and then she got a baby. The problem is that he's not ambitious. He's not hardworking. He's a lazy bum.
Strike 3, you're out.
So for everybody out there that wants to have a baby yesterday and like you just like want to have a baby with literally anybody, I think you guys should really ask yourselves, who do I want to raise my child with? Because it's very important, especially when you see couples like this that aren't really happy.
I was happy that my father was capable to come from Moldova.
So Andrei's parents come and see the baby, but Andrei promised his father that he would have another wedding in Moldova.
Today is my dad's birthday.
Okay, so it's Elizabeth's dad's birthday, and her dad is also her boss, and Andrei is like, hurry up, woman, hurry up, we have to go, because he doesn't like when he gets there always, and they're late, and then he basically gets called out for being late, and they make fun of him, and it's kind of funny, but at the same time, I feel like Elizabeth's entire family is like one cool dude that's providing for everybody, and then the rest of the daughters are Karens.
Andrei says his biggest issue with Elizabeth's family is that they're double-faced.
I totally get that, man. You know, I met a lot of double-faced people in my life, so I get that. Now, that being said, I feel like they tell you to your face that you're a lazy bum. So I don't know how that's two-faced or double-faced, as you like to say.
They're running on Andrei and Libby time. That's what they're doing.
They suck. They're always late.
Dude, Elizabeth's sister Jen has the most annoying voice. She seems like that annoying sorority president that is just like, says something to you and then talks shit behind your back. Like, she seems like the mean girl from high school. You know what I mean? I already don't like her.
So Jen says they're late and they tend to blame it on having a baby, but like we all have kids, so I don't really find that as an excuse.
We all have babies, so I don't really believe that as an excuse.
It's like, would I have a beer with that girl? That, you know? No.
We're here.
Oh my god!
Oh, finally.
Look who decided to
Sleeping. Is that why you were late? Because she's sleeping?
Yeah.
Yep.
Look who decided to show.
If this was my sister or my sister-in-law, I wouldn't come to any family function. And I would just be like, you know what? My sister-in-law's a bitch. Honestly, I'm surprised that Andrei still goes to family functions, to be honest with you. I probably wouldn't go.
What's a party if we're not late?
Yeah.
Okay, honestly, what do you guys think about Elizabeth's family here? I feel like it sucked all the air out of the room the minute Andrei and Elizabeth showed up. And I feel like if I walked in a room and it sucked out all the air and it just got super awkward and like everyone was talking shit about me and I walked in and like people were being snippy to me and rude to me and quiet like that, and I felt like I was being judged, I would never want to hang out with this family ever.
The only one that offered me a plate is my wife today.
Maybe if you were on time, you would have been offered a plate.
Don't be fucking rude.
So the women are ganging up on the men over here.
Haven't you ever heard the saying, happy wife, happy life?
Happy wife, happy life.
She said it. Every woman that says this shit is divorced. Bruh. Both people in a relationship need to be happy. It's not just happy wife, happy life. It's happy wife and it's happy husband. Or else happy wife, happy life, and then the husband cheats on you and then you the whole thing. I love that she said that. Clap it up. Clap it up for the douchey sorority president. Karen 2.0 over here.
Exactly.
No.
You've never heard that
The
saying?
man is happy, everybody's happy. That's how reality works.
Okay, so basically what you got is a young Karen going up against a misogynist. So, this is a very interesting argument because they're both wrong. Both people in a relationship need to be happy. I don't even need to tell you guys this. Everybody that watches my videos and subscribe to me, you guys all have brains. So I don't even need to tell you guys that. Now that being said, this is really interesting. This is good drama, isn't it?
Ask Charlie, he knows.
What the man says goes. Bottom line.
Man, I knew I liked Charlie and I couldn't put my finger on it for the longest time, but you know what it is? He looks just like Danny McBride, aka Kenny fucking Powers.
Okay, so in order to take the heat off himself, Andrei proposes a toast because right now all the Karens are attacking him because he's a misogynist and he says a bunch of stupid shit, but they say stupid shit too, right? So like they all suck. Let's be real. So he proposes a toast to Elizabeth's dad because it is her birthday and he says, guys, it's not about me. It's about him because it's his birthday today. Now that being said, I'm hosting a wedding for me and Elizabeth and you all are invited. So essentially, he kind of takes the light off himself to put it back on the father figure on his birthday, and then takes the limelight back and announces that he's going to have a wedding in Moldova and makes the whole birthday about himself. He really contradicted himself. If I was the dad, I'd be pissed, because it's like, okay, you did something nice. Like, now, you know, focus on me. It's my birthday. Oh, you ruined my fucking birthday. Cool.
What?
Why are you doing this right now?
Like I'm gonna walk her down the aisle and give her away kind of wedding?
Yes.
This is awkward. Elizabeth is very embarrassed that Andrei did this at her father's birthday party, and her father is pretty mad, but he doesn't really like say anything, you know, he just kind of like takes it. I mean, all the men in this family just kind of take it, to be honest with you.
And my family is really upset right now.
Basically, they're just like bitching.
It's nothing to do with it. It has to do with it being last minute. They have schedules and they have kids. And I understand their concerns.
Yeah, Andrei, I don't think they're bitching. I think you gave them late notice that there's going to be a wedding in a month and they all have schedules to keep. Everyone's busy. Not to mention that you ruined the father's birthday, and the father is also your wife's boss. So, like, really screwed that one up, bro.
If they don't want to come, that's their own problem.
Andrei, you like kivas? Me too. They should sponsor me at this point. I drink this shit every day.
But you have to understand because it's such last minute, right?
It doesn't even matter in the end. It's all about us. So I just made a decision, and you're like, maybe it was not the best, but it is what it is at this point. It's kind of messed up, but you know, like I used your father's birthday to announce the wedding, you know what I mean? And I'm sorry about this, you know?
I understand that, but you need to consider me, okay?
I love that Andrei apologizes and then he says thank you before she accepts his apology. You know what I mean? It's like someone that apologizes and then doesn't actually care if someone forgives them or not. Like, he just apologizes for the sake of apologizing, not because he actually thinks he was wrong. Yeah, man, you know, this shit's pretty funny.
So we're doing this. We're having a wedding in Moldova.
We are having a wedding in Moldova. Your dad is gonna pay for it.
Meanwhile, her dad already paid for the first wedding. So he's trying to finesse the dad paying for 2 weddings and staying at home and being a stay-at-home dad, not working. Meanwhile, this girl works her out. So, like, essentially, he's just mooching off this girl and her family.
To be honest, if Andrei asked my dad to pay for our wedding, he'd probably say no. So now I'm just gonna have to do it myself. Aside from the annoying part of him doing that, do you think that you will be able to go?
So Elizabeth asks her sisters if they're going to be able to attend her wedding in Moldova. Meanwhile, they're all breastfeeding. I don't know how this works because I don't have a child and I don't breastfeed. But I don't know if, like, is it normal for sisters to, like, meet up and, like, go in the hot tub and, like, all breastfeed your kids together? Is that, like, a normal thing? Hey, all right, hey, stop fighting, stop. All right, I'll see you ladies next Thursday. I don't know because I'm not a mom. I've never breastfed. So, like, let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious if other people do this.
Like, the thought of even traveling that far with toddlers.
Yo, look at that kid. That kid's hungry, dude.
You know what? I mean, I obviously want you guys to come, but if you can't make it, then don't.
Okay, so now you're acting like Andrei. Come or not come?
You know what? I'll be honest here. I agree with the sisters. I agree with the Karens because they say Andrei probably had no intention of us even coming. How can we possibly come on short notice like this? 1 month is not enough notice. I agree with that, and I think the lamest thing about this family and the situation is Andrei made the wedding date this date because he probably didn't want any of these people to come, but he still wants the father to pay for everything. And you're that lazy, instead of getting a job and paying for your own wedding, you want your wife's father to pay for 2 weddings? That's so lame, and especially a wedding in your home country that they've never been to. You want your father-in-law to come and pay for that wedding? That's the lamest shit I've ever heard in my life, and this dude is such a bum. It's kind of bewildering that Andrei is such a dud that he doesn't have any grind or any pride in himself to be like, oh, you guys think I'm a loser? Well, I'm gonna prove you wrong. Like, where's that mentality? It's just not present.
So, are you excited about Moldova?
Well, since, you know, my birthday party, you haven't talked to me at all.
I'll be honest, guys, I feel bad for the dad here. He seems like a really understanding guy, and this is what he says to his daughter. His biggest concern is, how is she gonna pay for this wedding?
I'm your dad. I understand, like, what you guys have been going through financially since you've been married. He's been over here struggling to get a job. I just want to know, like, how do you plan on paying for that?
So after her dad gives her this nice pep talk and he's genuinely concerned for how she's gonna pay, she admits that we were hoping that you would pay, Dad. I feel bad for the dad here. You can tell on his face that he feels very betrayed. He says, you know what, I would expect that from him, but I wouldn't expect it from you. He says something on the lines of that. And you know what, I feel bad for him. it is really tricky because I feel like I'm not a father yet, so I don't really know, but you have a soft spot for your kids, right? Now that being said, I feel like you still want to be stern and teach them a lesson. And at this point, this guy is such a moochy piece of shit that it's like, as a dad and a boss, do you just give the wedding? Do you pay for the wedding? It's weird because it's like this guy won and he did nothing. Like no hard work, nothing for this. And it's almost like he's just like feeding off of the dad's generosity at this point. And I find it really, really toxic.
He sends his wife over, my daughter, to say, hey, can you pay for the wedding? That's no way to go about it.
Amen, brother. I agree with the dad here. I think the problem is Andrei has little pussy balls. Despite being like big and thinking he's a big macho man, realistically, he has little pussy balls.
Honestly, like, I don't want you to have to pay for it. I don't. But I really feel like I'm caught in the middle of it.
Are you getting emotional, sweetie?
Yeah, because it's like, this is the last thing that I want to deal with, and he's putting it all on me, and I don't want to deal with it.
Then leave him and marry someone else. Are you stupid or are you dumb?
You know what? The dad feels generous enough to where I feel like if Andrei went up to him and was like, hey man, I don't have the money yet. I'm really trying. I will pay you back 100%. Is there any way that you will finance our wedding in Moldova? It's really important for myself and my family and for our child because I want them to have, you know, be influenced by both our cultures. And like if he came humbly and asked for this father-in-law's permission for the money, I think it would give it to him. But I think going about it in such a cowardly way, sending your wife to ask her father for the money and not even showing up and being a man, shows what little small balls this microscopic balls we're talking about, guys. Okay? Microscopic. Okay, so the dad caves and says that he loves his daughter and he wants to see her happy. And you know what? I'm torn on this one, guys. Let me know what you think. I'm happy for them, and I think he's a good dad. That being said, I don't think he should be paying for this wedding. I'm firmly against this decision, but I'm gonna stay out of it because it's not my family and I don't really care.
How did it go? Tell me about it.
Pour me a glass of wine and I'll tell you about it.
Is it a yes or a yes? I knew that Chuck was saying that he's gonna pay for the wedding, so I'm very thankful and I'm very excited. But the question is, how much? Bruh.
Are you for real? Did you seriously just ask me that?
This guy is so toxic. So at first he's like, I knew this was going to happen. Now the question is how much? You're making this dad that's paying for your second wedding look like a sucker, and you want to know how much money he's willing to throw down on this wedding? Let me get this straight. bro. You're not even man enough to go and ask him yourself. You send your wife to do your dirty work because you're a Then you have the nerve to say how much? Like, how much are we gonna milk out of him? And you know what? For Elizabeth, you're a shitty daughter, dog. Okay? You're just as guilty as he is because you're participating in this. You're just as bad. And you're with this toxic dude. You had a kid with this toxic dude. So you know what, bro? You suck too.
Big question is what's gonna be the budget, because I don't know how much it's gonna cost over there. And that's thousands of dollars. She wants a fabulous wedding. It's gonna cost us.
This guy's so stupid. Okay, first of all, Eastern Europe is way cheaper than the United States of America. That's a fact. So a wedding in the United States of America costs significantly more than a wedding in Eastern Europe. So this guy, I think, is scummy enough to like ask for a certain sum, spend a little bit on the wedding, and then pocket the rest. That is the kind of slime ball this guy is. I'm calling it how I see it. He's definitely gonna do that. I already know he's gonna do that. I already know.
Yes, he's going to pay for our wedding, of course. He said, of course I will. Phew.
Did he throw like a number there? Like, is he willing to spend like 50 grand? Maybe like how much he wants to spend?
So Elizabeth tells Andrei that her father accepted and she was really emotional, and he's still persistently asking how much. Is he thinking $50,000? How much money did he say? So instead of being grateful at the fact that he said he would pay for the wedding, he's persistently asking how much money are we talking?
Bruh.
Andrei's immediate reaction when I came home and told him that my dad agreed to pay for our wedding was entitled.
Okay, so Elizabeth keeps saying that what Andrei is doing is wrong and like saying the same kind of things we're saying, but she doesn't reprimand him, she doesn't disagree with him, she just kind of goes along with whatever he says and does. So in a way, Elizabeth, you're enabling him to like take money and steal money from your dad. You're a shitty ass daughter, bro. I think your priorities are towards your spouse because that's who you're having a family with. That's who you're starting a family with. That being said, if you're stealing money from your parents because your spouse is a toxic loser, no, dude, that's totally wrong. You should side with your parents and not with this toxic dude. And if anything, you should divorce him, take the kid, find a new dude that's not gonna treat you like a piece of shit, and isn't a misogynist loser. Really, Elizabeth? You're gonna spend the rest of your life with the dude that calls a day's work mounting a television and moving one piece of furniture? That's who you're gonna raise your kid with? Huh, bet. Like, hi, is anyone there? No? And I just want everyone to know Eastern European men are not all like this. It gives us a really bad rep, guys. Pick it up.
Yes, I want it to be big, babe, but like, are you really asking me how much he's gonna give us?
We're talking about a 15, maybe like it can go up to 40.
50?
15 to 40, like 50.
15 to 40,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so Andrei says the wedding budget, it's gonna cost between 15 and 45,000. That is such a ridiculous amount. It's nowhere near true. That's not how much weddings cost in Eastern Europe. This guy's full of shit. He's trying to pocket the money. I don't believe it for a second, dog. I went to a florist the other day and I got a big arrangement for $5. For $5 US, I get a fat arrangement like this big for me for $5. This dude is so full of shit. I gotta take a break. Fuck this dude. I'm gonna go smoke a cig and I'll be right back. So Andrei calls his parents to tell them the good news that his wife's father agreed to pay for the wedding and they've got tickets and they're gonna come to Moldova to host a wedding.
Grandmother loves you.
So Andrei's mother asks, where are you going to stay? And Andrei says, we are going to stay home. Just like when I was a little boy, I used to stay with you guys. So basically he's saying that he's gonna stay with his parents. And I don't know if he told Elizabeth this yet, but feelings, right?
My mom says that where are we gonna stay, and I told her that we're gonna stay at my parents' house.
So from Elizabeth's face, it's clear as day that I was right. I don't even need to watch the show. This guy's that predictable. So he didn't tell Elizabeth that he was planning on staying with his family and for her to stay with the family and the kid to stay at the family. So I find that interesting. I think this guy just kind of like runs the show despite not bringing anything to the table, especially financially. So Elizabeth tells Andrei that she doesn't want to stay with his parents, but she has no say in the matter. And Andrei says it's just better this way. So he really dismisses his wife's opinion. He doesn't give a shit about her opinion. And he even lies to his wife by saying that his parents initiated the fact that they should stay there. But we know that's not the case. He actually suggested that him and Elizabeth stay with his parents. His mom asked, where are you staying? And he said, I'm staying with you, Mom. We're staying with you.
Oh, Andrei, you want to stay with your mommy even though you're an adult now? Mommy, will you teach Elizabeth how to do all the work and take all the responsibility in the house? Meanwhile, so I can watch TV?
Yeah, pretty insensitive to not care about your wife's feelings. And I'm sure she's not really comfortable staying with your parents. She barely knows your parents and she doesn't speak the language. So I don't really know how this is going to work.
So this loser's dad asks how long are you going to stay in Moldova? And he says, we'll stay about there 3 weeks, I guess. Elizabeth's like, what? 3 weeks? And he's like, yeah, 3 weeks. Is that a problem, sweetie?
We will stay for 3 weeks. Oh yeah, cool, dude. Okay guys, so this video is already getting pretty long, so I'm gonna cut it here and then we're gonna have parts for this video. So we're gonna have 3 parts of this Andrei and Elizabeth series. This is part 1 of 3. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Comment below, subscribe. Follow me on Twitch and on Instagram right now.